Hi, thanks for joining us at the Wheatland Regional Library. Today we're going to be working on our next STEAM to Go project, which is our ice lanterns. These make a great holiday decoration for outside or just a fun activity that you can do, learning a little bit about the different states of matter. And in this project, we'll be working with both liquids and solids. So take some time to gather everything that you need and come back and join us so we can get started. For this project, you're going to need a large plastic cup, a small plastic cup, tape, pipe cleaners, pom-poms, water, food coloring is optional, as well as other decorative items. And be sure to also have a battery-operated tea light candle, and only use that type of candle for this project. Okay, our first step in making our ice lantern is to add in our decorations. So you're going to be using your larger cup. This is a red solo cup for this part of the project. And I have two different types of decorations that I'm going to use. I have some pieces of pipe cleaner as well as some different colored pom-poms. You can also use other small items like beads or confetti that you might get inside of a greeting card, or even some other small items like sparkles, anything that you want to add that's going to freeze inside the water to add some color and decoration to your project. To start, I'm going to work with the pipe cleaners. So you're just going to take your cup, and you can bend the pipe cleaners into any shape that you want, and just put them along the edge of the cup as best you can, bending them as you go. They don't have to be perfect, and when you put in the water, it's going to change a little bit of how they sit as well. If you want to, you can twist some of the pipe cleaner together. You get a nice little pattern there as well, and it makes a longer piece for you to play with. I have 4 pieces of pipe cleaner, which is 2 whole pipe cleaners just cut in half. But you can cut these into smaller pieces if you want to as well, just to play around with the different colors and create a design that you like. So go ahead and take some time to curve those pipe cleaners into whatever shape you want to, and place them around the outside of the cup as best you can, knowing that once we pour the water in, it's going to change it a little bit. If you do have pipe cleaners along the bottom of the cup, that's okay too. They'll just show up at the bottom edge of your lantern. All right, so now I have all of my pipe cleaners situated as best I can around the edges of my cup. It's okay if they're not right up against the cup like I said before. Now I'm going to add more decorations with the pom-poms. So with these, again, if you put them all at the bottom of the cup, they're just going to show up at the bottom of your lantern. If you want to try to balance some of them on top of the pipe cleaners or in between the pipe cleaners, just so you have pom-poms at different heights throughout your lantern, you can go ahead and do that. If you have some other items you want to add, like we said before, some confetti or beads, take a few minutes now to play around with the design of your decorations before we go ahead and add in the water. Okay, now that we have all our decorations where we want them inside our cup, we're going to start building our lantern. So we need to take the smaller cup that you had in the kits, or if you're doing this at home without a kit, this is just a regular sized clear plastic cup. And this is going to be the part that makes the chamber or the area in the middle of the lantern where you're going to be putting your battery operated candle when it's all done. So I've added 4 pieces of tape to the top, and this is just regular crafting tape. And so we're going to carefully place the clear plastic cup inside the larger cup, and then we're going to use the tape to secure that as best we can without bumping our decorations too much, so that the top of both cups are level. That's kind of the aim of where we want that cup to be held up by the tape. So you want to really make sure that each piece of tape is pressed down well, both inside the clear plastic cup and on the outside of the larger cup, so that this doesn't move once we put it into the freezer. So now our lanterns are ready, or the frame for our lantern is ready, and we have to add the water. So the one thing to be very careful about is we don't want to get any water inside that clear plastic cup. All of the water that we're going to be putting in, we want it to go here in this little valley between the two cups. So that's where we want the water to go, is in between the two cups. So you might want to do this step over a sink. I've brought some water here with me today. This is just regular tap water. The temperature of the water doesn't matter at all. I would recommend, though, not using hot water just in case we spill on our hands. And I'm just going to slowly pour in that water, again, between the two cups. None of the water is going inside the clear plastic cup. We're filling up the space between the two cups, and that's what's going to make the walls of our lantern. If you can pour the water slowly, it's less likely that it's going to move around all those decorations that you put in, but they still will move a little bit, even if we're pouring really slow. You're going to fill the lantern to just a few centimeters from the top of the big cup. You want to leave space, one, so you can carry it to the freezer or outside to freeze. And also, as the water freezes and changes from a liquid to a solid, it's going to expand a little bit and get a little bit bigger. So we want to leave a little space there for that. The next step is to add a weight. I have just a rock that I found outside in my backyard, and I'm going to put that gently inside the clear plastic cup. And that's just going to act as a weight to hold that cup in place as, like I said, as that water changes or that liquid changes to a solid, it's going to expand and get bigger a little bit. So that weight is going to help prevent this clear plastic cup from popping up too high inside our lantern as it freezes. If you want to add a little bit more to your lantern, you can also add a few drops of food coloring into the water. If you do it now when it's already poured, it's going to make like swirly kind of designs in the water. Or if you have some sparkle that you would use for crafting, you can pour a little bit of that on top of the water, and it'll just add a little bit of shimmer to your lantern once it's finished. So now our lanterns are ready to go into the freezer, or if it's cold enough outside, you can also put this outside to freeze. It's going to take several hours to freeze. So go ahead and put it into your freezer or outside if it's very cold outside, and check on it after 3 or 4 hours and see how it's doing. But make sure you do leave it long enough that it's fully frozen before you come back, and we can take the cups out and see the beautiful lanterns that we created. So it has been 5 hours since I put my lantern into the freezer, and now it's time to see how it turned out. So something I did before I came and sat down to show you, I ran my red cup under some warm water from the tap and just let it run on the outside of the red cup just to help release the frozen lantern that's inside. So when we try to take it out, hopefully it just pops right out. So we're gonna take off the tape from our center cup. That warm water, you don't want it getting inside the cup, but if you just run it along the outside of the cup, it helps to just release. We'll shift it back and forth a little bit and pull that out. So now you can see inside, we have a nice big cavern here for our battery operated candle to go in. And I can already see that our lantern released a little bit from the cup. So that's good, it should come out nicely. If you have trouble, I would try running it under the warm water another time. You can also, with the help of an adult, use some scissors to cut the top of the cup on the outside and just try to peel it away to help release the ice that's inside. So we're gonna flip it over. Oh, and it wasn't quite fully frozen because we've got a little bit of leakage there onto our napkin. But you can see now we have our frozen ice lantern. I added some green food coloring into my water before I froze it, so that's why it's got that little bit of green coloring. I think it looks really beautiful, and you can see all the decorations that we put inside. So that was 5 hours that I had it frozen, so you might want to leave it a little bit longer even to make sure it freezes all the way through to the very bottom. But I'm going to take it into a darker space and I'm going to put in our battery operated candle, and I'll show you guys so we can see what it looks like when it is lit up. Okay, so now you can see I have the candle inside and it really is pretty. You can see it shining through with all our decorations. So this is a great Christmas holiday decoration that you can put outside and light up, and it will make a great addition to your front step. Very pretty. So our ice lanterns definitely are not an inside decoration. They are going to melt. They're a temporary, beautiful decoration that you can use outside. And if it's cold enough outside, they should last for a while, as long as the temperature stays below 0. But you can see all the decorations there in the ice lantern that I made. I'm sure your creations are even more beautiful than this one. So put it out on your front step if it's cold. You can see it's dripping and melting here inside, so definitely an outdoor decoration to use. If it's not cold enough for it to stay frozen outside, then you can enjoy it while it lasts. Thanks for joining us today at the Wheatland Regional Library for our Steam to Go project. The ice lantern is a great project to try, and you can make them throughout the winter. Enjoy them during our Saskatchewan winters. So thanks for joining us, and I hope to see you back again soon for our next project.